Piecewise functions. The first thing we're going to do in piecewise functions is actually evaluate them for specific numbers. Now, the first one we're going to evaluate is f of -2. I do not evaluate this number in both functions. I only evaluate it in the appropriate domain. Is -2 less than or equal to 1 or greater than 1? Since it's less than or equal to 1, I'm going to evaluate it with this function. So I'm going to put in a -2 for x, and I evaluate it and get -1. F of 1, is it in the top domain or the bottom domain? In this case, it's in the top domain again because x is less than or equal to 1. So I evaluated at x plus 1. When I plug in a 1 for x, I get 2. Well, I can also sketch this function. And the way I like to do it is if I have 2 pieces, I do 2 table of values. If I have 3 pieces to the piecewise function, I do 3 and so on. One is going to be x plus 1 and one's going to be x squared. So the first one, I'm going to look at this domain. X is less than or equal to 1. So I'm going to start with 1 and numbers less than it. 0, -1. When I plug in a 1 there, I get 2. When I plug in a 0, I get 1. When I plug in a -1, I get 0. So now I plot these points. 1, 2 with a closed circle because it includes it. 0, 1, -1, 0, and at this point you can see the pattern and you can continue it. Next, x is greater than 1, so I'm going to start with 1 and do numbers that's greater. I have to start with 1. I cannot skip to 2 because you're missing an infinite amount of numbers between 1 and 2. The only thing I'm going to do at 1 is when I graph it, I'm going to graph it with an open circle. So 1 squared is 1, 2 squared is 4, 3 squared is 9. So at 1, 1, I'm going to have an open circle. At 2, 4. At 3, 9. So I know it's a parabola, so it's going to curve up like this. Now I have 2 pieces to my function.